We are here live with some of the cast of Amphibia, and we're really excited to sign your prints and answer some of your questions. We're going to go ahead and open the floor to introductions, though this group needs no introduction. But go ahead, let us know who you are and your character.
I guess I could start. Hey everyone, my name's Justin Felbinger, the voice of Sprig Planer, Wortwood's favorite pink little frog. And yeah, I'm super excited just to meet some of you guys, answer some questions, and sign these awesome prints for you. So super excited.
Hey guys, I'm Amanda Layton. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill.
No, go ahead.
First.
Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda Layton, and I play Polly, the little pollywog that was once in a bucket, and now she's got legs.
And I'm Bill Farmer. I'm kind of the senior partner here in this endeavor because I play the old kind of gripey frog named Hop Pop, and we want to hear your questions, answer anything that we can. I'm also known as I do Goofy, which I've done for the last 36 years, and Pluto and a bunch of other characters, and here to answer your questions.
And you guys, guess who else we have?
I am Zara Fuzzle, and I am General Yunan, Scourge of the Sand Wars, defeater of Ragnar the Wretched, and I'm so happy to be on and to see you guys. Hi, Bill. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Justin.
Pleasure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it is such a pleasure to see you. Welcome. All right, everyone, we're going to let them do a round robin and sign one autograph each. In the meantime, get your questions into the chat, and I'll bring one up. Oh, Matt couldn't be here today, guys.
Matt.
Yeah, he's busy working on something, but he misses all of you, and he's signing some special things for us that will be available in his store shortly. But keep that on the whispers.
Special projects. I wonder what he's cooking up.
Whatever it is, it's special.
Trying to find a question. Enid Regal actually signed earlier this week. She was signing on behalf of Owl House, but she was coming up in the Amphibia group shop because some of her prints are tagged. So I'm sorry, guys. Eden won't be here today, though she is a lovely person.
We love Eden.
Yes. Yeah. She's so sweet.
The best.
She's wonderful.
I'm just fumbling my bag of Sharpies. That noise.
That's a huge bag.
I don't know which color to pick. If anybody wants a certain color, let me know.
That's awesome. You have all the colors.
I don't, because I have to go back and see the name and everything to my inbox on Gmail, and I don't want to lose the studio. So I'm going to have you guys get names, and I'm going to fill them all out later so I can spend my attention answering questions. I actually saw one question. Someone said something about, do I know SpongeBob? Yeah, Tom Kenny is a good friend, and I was in the SpongeBob movie, the first one, as a couple of incidental characters. And yeah, Tom, I always get Christmas cards from him. He just lives up the block, really.
Oh, that's got to be the most fun block in the city, man.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. We made the news around here yesterday or the day before. There was a fire at someone's house about 1 block away, and there were 11 fire trucks. I mean, it was like a big deal. First one that I've ever seen in this neighborhood. Usually it's someone's sick or needs to go to the hospital or maybe a small fire, but this was like a biggie. I think they lost the house, and
no.
That's scary. So yeah, turn off the stove, everyone, if you leave it on. So that's something Hop Pop would do.
Oh, I like this one. What are your guys' favorite outfits from each of your characters?
I have an answer, but it's from one episode. It's where they get the tails, her and Anna, they go into the tails store and they're going, tails.
Oh, yeah.
Tails. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, Hop Pop didn't change too much. When he was doing acting and things like that, he would. But I always was what drew me to him when the original when it came online is his little ascot and his little vest, and that kind of I don't know why that affected the way I did the voice and just his look. Sometimes when you develop these voices, like Goofy obviously was around long before me, and so I had to do a copy the voice and do it as close as I could. But Hop Pop, we got to come up with a voice. So to make him kind of this East Texas kind of gripey frog, and he was gripier in the original script than he was as he got softer later on, a nicer guy. He was kind of tough on Ann in the first couple episodes, but his costume kind of defined the voice for me.
I think I found my favorite costume of Spriggs. And it's this. Do you guys remember from that episode where
Oh yeah.
Yes.
for the dance, or it was like the ball with Ivy or whatever, and they both really didn't want to do it? That is my favorite costume. I just thought it was so funny. And I remember watching the episode back and just cracking up, like seeing it, like how much he didn't want to be there. It's so hilarious. So that has to be my favorite. Either that, or I think there's one other where Sprig, like it was like a dark Sprig where he had like a hoodie and all this stuff. And I forgot what they're doing. It was like a game of bug ball or something like that.
Yeah.
Really, really great costume. So
I remember that hoodie. That hoodie was cool.
yeah. Let me see. I'll probably find that. Oh yeah, here it is.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember that now.
And I would say for you, Nan, I really only had the one until the end, the finale episode, the living in the countryside with Lady Olivia, the white shirt. But I think my favorite, I love both designs, but I love the design in the first episode. Yunnan appears with the epaulettes and the claws and the kind of Brienne of Tarth armor from Game of Thrones, for those of you who don't know Brienne of Tarth. It's very cool. You know all too well.
I watch Game of Thrones.
I didn't watch it till over the pandemic. Just a couple years ago. I was like, oh.
My parents have surpassed me. They've watched it maybe like 4 times all the way through.
Wow.
I'm not that like, but yeah.
Cool, super fans.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I love the show. I've watched most. I haven't been watching too much lately, just because I've been busy. But when I get a chance, it's on Disney Plus, so you can look at it anytime you want. And now they'll have runs of it from time to time, like Amphibia Day on Disney Channel, and so that's always cool. I'll usually try and catch those.
Yeah.
Those are so fun. All right. Is anybody working on an autograph that they want to show off?
No, I'm holding.
Everybody's like,
We're all
nope.
talking really
Not yet. Can write and talk at the same time.
I have on my lap my prints, my laptop, so I can see who's, and my Sharpies. It's a process.
I'm about to start one. To Diego, about this lovely print. I love this one.
It's a neat costume too.
Oh, it's so cute. I love the colors in this print and how glossy it is. I'm like, oh. And he wants me to draw a Polly, and it was very sweet. He said, it doesn't matter if it's good or not, which I really appreciate. Because I'm not an artiste.
Yeah, I love it when folks are like, can you draw this? I'm like, I don't, that's not really,
you don't
I
need to
talk
draw
for a
that.
living.
I talk for a living.
I can describe it to you very excitedly.
Oh, I see a question that people ask me quite a bit. It says, is Goofy a dog or a cow? For some reason, I get that question a lot. No, he's never been a cow. His original name was Dippy Dog, even though it was spelled D-A-W-G. And the cow thing came from some guy who had put up a website kind of explaining this, but he just made this stuff up. So no, he never was intended to be a cow. And the main thing is he's a cartoon. So it's whatever they do.
Wasn't there a Clarence the cow from Disney somewhere?
Yeah.
And then they kind of phased him out.
There's Clarence, yeah. Clarabelle.
Sorry,
Clarabelle the cow.
Oh, Clarabelle. Okay, okay.
Yeah, and she's been around for a long time, and is that's April Winchell voices her.
Oh,
And,
I love
has
her.
since the beginning. And yeah, even in the movie, we did the movie Three Musketeers. Goofy and her kind of have a little romantic thing going on. So there might be a little interspecies love, but but of course during the movie, Clarabelle's trying to kill Goofy. So you know, it's
Love is complex.
how can you resist Goofy's charms? And so, but no, Goofy is not definitely, and he's not a dog either, according to Disney. He's kind of like a wolf in a dog, but it's a canine. So Canis Goofus, I think, is what Goofy actually is with the Latin name. So who knows?
I love that. Next question will be, who is your favorite character other than your own?
That's hard.
Yeah,
I know, especially with your castmates in the same room.
Yeah, no pressure. No pressure, anyone.
Mine would have to be
Domino
Grime.
too.
I love Grime. And
yeah.
I think you know that, yeah, that's probably my favorite, I guess.
It's hard to choose. They're all so great for their own reasons. And I relate to all of them a little bit.
Man, that is really hard.
So hard.
I think I really like Hot Pop's like kind of backstory and everything. Like Bill knows a lot, you know, like all the different like things that like there's a lot of like background to Hot Pop. Like I feel like you could have like a whole like thing of just Hot Pop's like stories, you know. And so like being an actor and all that, and I really like how there's kind of like a history to his character a lot. So
yeah, I'd love to see like their history explored a little bit more. Like we never saw, you know, Spriggs and Polly's parents, you know, that we've had them referred to in the herons and everything, but never saw what they looked like or what were they like. That'd be kind of cool to do.
That's true. Amphibia movie? What?
Hey, Matt Braley, we have some ideas to pitch you.
Also, I guess I may as well shout out Kieran. I just signed that for you, and it says waiting for you in Amphibia, Kieran. So thank you so much for the support. I think you can see that, right? There we go. So that will shortly. Put that over here.
Well, I'll say my favorite character, other than the one I play, General Yunan, would have to be the film director in, I think, season 3, the Hollywood episode, which I also voiced. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I'm going to say Anne. I have this Andal that the crew sent over to, you know, they sent a lot of us like a little care package, and Anne was in it. And she's just, I mean, the whole story, it's her journey. She's how we kind of see both Amphibia and the real world, and her friendships, you know, her relationship with her friends. So I just love Anne. I think she's such a cool heroine, and it's awesome that over the course of the show, you get to follow her through the journey.
I think one of my favorite voices where I had to go back and read the credits because I was like, I've heard that voice before, was in the what was it? The theater, like the theater troupe. The leader of that is voiced by Susan Egan. And I was in shock. I was like, that's Susan. I've heard that voice before. And yeah, I went back and I checked it and I was like, oh, it's Susan. How wonderful. Because she's done so much that sometimes you're like,
yeah,
I've heard that, but where? Because it could be any number of places.
Megara and Hercules, right?
Yep.
is I think where I first got introduced to her, and then she played Belle on Broadway in
Oh,
Beauty
yeah.
and the Beast
Yes.
during its initial run, I think. Yeah. Oh, what a performer.
Yep. And she voiced Steven's mother in Steven Universe.
Oh.
Yep. She's a pop culture icon. Let's see. More questions.
Oh, you know who else I'm just remembering right now? Mrs. Croker.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Mrs. Croker.
That's a really good character.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Also, this one is going out to Diego. Thank you so much, Diego. I got spraying against the world here, so that'll be going.
This person wants to know, how are you all doing a year since Amphibia ended?
Oh.
Well, sad that it ended for sure, but because it's so much fun to do. Of course, during the third season, we were all in kind of lockdown. I did it all in this room at my home studio, but it's so much fun to go into the studio where you can, see a few of us at a time. But generally, we record separately anyway. So these kind of get-togethers are really when we get to say hi and see everybody. So yeah, I miss doing it. I do. I love doing the show, and it was always a big challenge and always fun. I mean, because we don't see the show before we voice it, and so it's kind of like in your imagination. But as you get to know the characters, you can respond even though you're not hearing the other characters talk. You know how they're gonna say something, and you can respond, and kind of like little theater of the mind kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Amphibia is like, it's kind of different than a lot of the shows that I did in the past, because like usually when those shows would end, it was like that was it, like but Amphibia has such like a strong like fan base, like
Yeah.
I'll still DM saying like, oh, we just watched this episode again, or we're rewatching the series, and oh, this is such a funny line from Sprig, and I just like, I love seeing that, because it's like the fan base is still like really alive, and a lot of people are just like constantly watching the show, and constantly talking about it on social media and everything. It's great to see, because it's like I said, a lot different from other shows where it's got this really, really strong fan base. So yeah.
For sure. Like, that's something I've noticed on my social media. The Amphibia fans are so passionate and so vocal, and I often will get tagged when fan art comes out, or, something reminds someone of General Yunnan. Someone will tag me and I'll see it. And it's just really cool to have been part of a show. I reflect on how grateful I am a year out from its ending. Like, what a nice community to have been brought into and be a part of.
Mm-hmm. It definitely had also such a strong and beautiful ending. Even though you never want something to end, it's always sad, because we love to play these characters, and so much fun coming to work every day, and then to see it when it's all done and made and everything. But to be on a show where the ending was so powerful and like so moving, that's also awesome too.
Yeah, it was kind of like, sometimes when they just quit the series and they haven't really finished it, it's kind of like reading a book and missing the last chapter. It just there's a completeness to it that I like, and you know what happens. Then if you want to continue the series, you can always do another series based on these characters in maybe earlier in their lives, later on, what happens after Amphibia. There's a lot of possibilities, but I like the fact that they did end this in the story at a really nice place. So it's a complete story, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been a year, and now we can challenge your brains a little.
Uh-oh.
What was your favorite line from the show?
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't even have to be your line. What's your favorite line? The pinnacle line.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but this one just keeps popping in my head because I saw it the other day, and I don't know why I thought it was so funny. It's a Polly line, and I don't know what episode it's from, but they're walking through and they see these, frog skeletons and stuff, and she's like, "Haha, frogs died here." Like that. I don't know why. Like,
I remember that line. I guess one of my favorites is really from I think the season 1 where they got the lamprey eels in the basement, and Sprig looks down at your eyesight's terrible, and says, "My eyesight's fine. Who's that, Sprig?" One of that cracked me up when we did that.
I guess for me, it's the classic levers are for pulling, Anne. It always cracks me up every time, and it's like, I don't know, it's just such like a Sprig line, like he's always just getting into trouble doing something, so it always like just puts a smile on my face.
I'm smiling listening to all three of you. This is so fun. My favorite line, so, General Yunan's speech, I've come to love and have memorized because y'all ask me to write it on these prints. And so I've become very accustomed to it. But I'm going to say the line that's coming to me today is from the episode Olivia and Yunnan, that I refuse to serve a mad king. It's like when Yunnan makes her stance known against King Andrias. And I just think it's like, full of defiance and plotting of how are we going to work against this king. So it's kind of, I love the intrigue of it. And Grubhog! Also, that was so fun. I love that this, fierce general is afraid of a little tiny cute Grubhog.
All right, next question. Any funny recording memories that stick with you?
Oh, let's see. That's a tough one because we're kind of just going from line to line. Some lines crack you up. I mean, how many times have I had to say what? And then okay, got to do it again. And but funny recording. Sometimes you add lib lines that don't make it in the show, and I can't think of any that I did or I could even talk about. But sometimes you get the giggles and you just kind of crack up, and it doesn't have to be for any particular reason. But I'm trying to think. Anything comes to mind, guys?
For me, I feel like sometimes it's the sound effects that get me laughing. Like it's you're sticking out your tongue and you're grabbing a fly or something and you're going wow, 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 like for 20 plus times, and then after a while you're just like, this is the job.
I think for me, okay, there was one really funny time where it was like season 1. And I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember the episode where he's trying Hot Pop's pain peppers?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Psychedelic one there. Yeah.
And I remember because I was like, I had already we had done that episode, and I think there was other screaming in the episode. So it was like we saved that one line for the very end. Eden was like, okay, we'll push it off to the very end. I remember my voice was already dead, and I saw the line. And I'm like, whew. And I just remember having to scream because we had to do a couple takes of it. And she was like, okay, just let out this blood curdling scream. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, ah, just seeing it afterwards, how Sprig's reaction to the pink peppers, it was just so funny.
Yeah.
So it was there's a lot of times like that where Eden would kind of help me out by saving those really, really difficult lines to the very end, especially being a teenager at the time of the recording. It's your voice is constantly, getting thrashed and all that. So it was great that Eden was able to help me with that because also, I guess I could do another shout out here to Daryl Timmerman. Thank you so much for the support. And we've got Spraying Against the World there.
Daryl, I'm doing yours as well.
Ooh.
I'm including Get Ready for the Pain.
Ooh.
Daryl. Okay.
I'm looking at the comments. A lot of the fans are liking the pain peppers.
Yeah.
Such a-
I know all of you probably get some variation of this question, but I do like knowing. This person asked, "What's voice acting like? I'm interested in pursuing it." But what do your days really look like? I mean, I am a project manager, so I just hang out in my pajamas all day. What do you guys get to do?
Oh, that sounds
Well,
pretty good.
it's a little
It's a
different.
sweet gig.
It's a little different if you're working from home or if you're going into the studio. I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's you could be at home in your sweatpants or, your pajamas still, and you just
Yeah.
roll out of bed and you go over
You
to
can
the
get
mic.
used to
And
that pretty easily. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I do, and we did the whole third season, like I say, in kind of lockdown from COVID. And my son's an audio engineer, so he runs my session. So it's really no different than going into a studio, because even when I did go into the studio, the director was on Zoom meeting, kind of just up on the wall on a monitor. So it's really no difference. Um, sometimes it's just kind of fun to get out of the house and go to a studio, but it's also very easy to walk down the hall. Like you say, you don't have to, worry about what you look like, and just come in the room and do a show. And, but yeah, voice acting, gosh, I've been doing that for a long time. In the early days, it was all the audio tape and then the computers. And now we're doing it via Zoom, and you can have the director in Paris or something like that, and still do movies and TV shows. So the technology has made it easier in some ways, but for the actor, I think it's a little tougher, because in the early days always did it ensemble, everyone in the studio at the same time,
Yeah.
and you can play off of other people and respond to them rather than respond to, okay, and then Sprig says this, and then you say this. Okay, then I got to think, how does Sprig say this? And you do it a few times over and over until they say, "Oh, that third one was great," and then they go on. So it's a little different. It has changed through the years, but it's still a lot of fun.
No, I mean, there's definitely a different energy whenever you're like in the room with your fellow cast members, and people are kind of feeding off each other's energy. And I mean, you can get that on like Zoom too, like if you're doing like a Zoom call with everyone, but it's definitely not the same as like being in person with everyone. I personally love going in to the studio and everything, but sometimes it's like it just is really convenient to be able to just like be at home, be able to record these episodes, from the comfort of your home and everything. So it's really nice.
Yeah. I'm coming to you from my home booth, obviously, at the moment. And I'll say, like, being a professional voice actor, it's a little bit different every day. There's no like real set schedule, and each week is a little hard to predict. It's a little bit of everything. It's a mix of constant auditioning, sometimes you're booking, sometimes you're working. And then there's also, time where you're developing your relationships with people in the industry, watching things, doing research. So it's hard to predict what it's like on a day-to-day basis. But what everyone has said, when you get that opportunity to play with other actors, especially in person, it's magic. There's nothing like it. Just that interchange of energy. And I'm so glad that, nowadays things are transitioning kind of, for me anyway, 50-50 to being at home versus being in studio. And it's just now starting that, like, I went into a studio in person the other day, and the showrunners, the people who make the show, were on the other side of the glass in the other room. And I was like, oh, I have not seen people on for years
Yeah.
in the same building. And it makes such a difference when you have that audience and that interplay and that exchange of energy in real time. So it's so much fun. Voice acting is worth exploring and kind of finding where you find the fun in it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's definitely so much fun. And Bill, as you were saying earlier about when we used to have the cast with the ensemble, when we did Powerpuff, that's what it was like, where we, every morning it was all three of us and we got to work off of each other. And it is this flow of energy and it's so fun and it's in the moment and you're not really thinking about, am I doing, when you're by yourself, you're thinking, okay, I want to give 3 different takes or, so then maybe one of them will fit. But, when you're there and you're in the moment, you're not really thinking about that. You're kind of just, you're feeding off of each other, which is, yeah it's so fun.
And I finally got one off of my other website where all the pictures are. So that's for Daryl. Everyone else has done Daryl. So he had me say, family always finds each other. And thanks for that, Daryl. Side here. So
Next question. What were your thoughts on the ending?
I mean, I guess I could say something like I thought it was great. I mean, like we were talking about before, it was a very satisfying ending.
yeah.
And worked on other shows that just kind of just end abruptly, like they don't get it picked up for another season and then that's it. You've like put a lot into these characters and learned a lot about them. So it was very satisfying to, have this show where I learned a lot about Sprig and his background and everything and all these other characters and fell in love with the show and the characters. And so I think it was great to just have this really great, satisfying ending, really a happy ending. And I mean, it was very, very emotional. I actually watched the final episode with my granny. Watched it. I got but it was just really just a really great ending and just very different from a lot of other shows because it had satisfying, kind of ending where because we all love the characters, and we want to see a great ending. So
yeah, that it was very satisfying. And like I say, they completed that story. And it's not necessarily the end of the characters, but it's a story. And just that finishing it felt really nice. And also it was very tearful. Goodbyes are always tearful, even if you're going to see people down the road and stuff like that. But true goodbyes are always kind of emotional. And it was an emotional season ending. So yeah, and it would have been nice to have continued, see what they do. But that's the way it works sometimes with shows. But it was a totally well done, perfectly presented show, I think. Yeah,
I definitely cried. It was just so heartfelt. It was perfect. I can't imagine it ending in a different way. Obviously you want to see, the Planters and Anne, stay together, forever, like, in each other's lives and stuff. But it's so true, just like real life, people, they have to go like their separate ways sometimes. But it's like, obviously they're never going to forget, like what they learned from each other. And it's just so touching. And sometimes we're not, as fortunate to always have an ending to shows. Sometimes they just end. And then you just find out, oh, okay, that was my last episode. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But we were so lucky.
At the risk of dating myself, you kids these days have no idea how good you have it to have an ending. All the shows I was a fan of as a child, it's like they made, 52 episodes, I think, to get into syndication. 50 or maybe 92 was the magic number. So they just tried to hit that mark and then that was it. No more. So there wasn't really anything by way of a finale. You were kind of just open-ended. And, there's beauty in that too, because then the imagination takes over. But I love what all of y'all are saying, that there was a beautiful ending. I actually played the museum guard in the final scene, or the museum tour guide that was leading the kids through the museum. So I read that scene with, the girls reuniting, and it was just like, oh, when I saw it on the page, I'm like, this is going to make people cry, flashing forward into the future, and they're doing great. So I just thought it was really touching. And then to see it animated and done and all fully acted was awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing one of the parts that got me is, the very end. It's such a beautiful ending. The final shot with the little pink frog, there. And oh my gosh, that part really got me. But it was
Oh yeah,
The little spring.
well.
yeah. That's so cute. I have to ask, Bill, did Goof Troop ever have a finale, like a final episode?
No, it really didn't. No, it just it was one of those that just kind of ended, and that was a long time ago. So if we did have an ending, I don't remember it. So, no, it didn't, and that was like I say, having an ending. It's sad in one way because it's a goodbye, but in another way, it's really beautiful to tie it up, a complete story, like a complete movie should have a good ending that you like. Something with a really crummy ending, you just okay, it can ruin the whole movie. This was
Yeah.
done so well and tied up all those loose ends for that particular story. And each season changed so much too. Of course, the first one was kind of in Wortwood and out on the farm and everything, and then in LA, and then the intergalactic war. So it had different, it was really an evolving story, which is unusual for most series. And I liked that a lot. I liked it. It was almost in a way like 3 different series, how it just progressed over the seasons.
Bill saying that Goof Troop was so long ago it hurts my feelings
know,
because I
me too.
watched those
That
as
was my
they
first
came out.
series.
That
Yeah.
was my era too. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
that one
Right
was
after
my
Darkwing Duck.
first
Yes.
series.
Oh my gosh. I love Darkwing Duck.
That was a long time ago, and frankly terrifying because I had a stellar cast in it, and I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never done a series before, so it was kind of a heavy thing on my mind. And we didn't get scripts ahead of time. We got them when we walked in the studio, and we didn't get a read through. We just boom went, and that's a little terrifying sometimes. You want to hold up your end of the bargain there.
Well, you couldn't tell from watching that it was your first series, Bill. I mean, you are goofy. Like you just are.
Worse things.
Speaking of Disney Afternoon in that era, I have this awesome print of General Yunan as Darkwing Duck.
That is so funny.
Because I was a huge Darkwing Duck fan as a kid. And when I think I've told this story before, when I auditioned for General Yunan, she had that speech that was, in my mind, sort of a sister speech to "I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am I am Darkwing Duck." So I kind of based my take of Yunan a little bit with the Darkwing, because she had that ego that Darkwing has. And so Hunter Braley, the incredible artist, I commissioned this print from them, and I just love it so much.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's amazing. I now need someone who is far more talented than I to splice Darkwing's monologue and General Yunan's monologue in a YouTube video so that I can watch them side by side.
Somebody in this fandom's got mad skills. I think somebody can do it. Somebody take up the challenge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm using my Disney Plus account for after this. I'm just going to log on and go watch Darkwing Duck and then watch Amphibia again and compare notes. Be like, oh yeah, I see it.
Amazing.
I love knowing that. That's so great.
Also, this is for Dylan. And at the bottom, you can see here, spraying against the world.
How many times do you think you've written that?
Oh my gosh. It's definitely a fan favorite line, I'd say.
Amanda, what's the line you write the most?
Oh, let's see here. I don't have a candy problem. You have a candy problem.
Yeah,
I think it's probably
episode 1.
Yeah, and then also a lot of people ask for what was it? I just saw it somewhere. It was something That's bad that I forgot. Bring on the pain, or what is?
Mine's usually say what, or I don't feel safe. That's always a big one.
This is for Brandon. Brandon got this gorgeous, hilarious Olivia print by Beatrice Bovo that is like this meme of somebody falling behind a couple that Beatrice basically made an Amphibia version of it. Brandon, here's Marcy yelling, ah, with a little Olivia forever. Thank you so much, Brandon.
I see all of your prints every day. Like I go into the print shop and I see them before they come out to you and things like that. I've never noticed half of these little things that you guys are telling us. I didn't notice the Darkwing Duck thing. I didn't notice the person falling in the back. I feel very unobservant right now. And it's my job to notice details for a living. So I'm like, I'm really bad at this.
You got a lot going on. It's all right.
Herding the cats. Where is? Just saw it. Someone asked if you guys had seen Owl House, and since I was just with that cast like 2 weekends ago, I want to know, have you guys seen Owl House?
Yeah. Not a great number of episodes, but yeah, I love it. And we did one of these kind of things with the cast of Owl House. I remember. So that was a lot of fun too.
Yes, I've seen some episodes. Sadly, I haven't watched it all the way from beginning.
I need to
end.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do leave on Disney Channel and Disney XD. I love it playing in the house. It's good vibes. And so, so yes, I've seen a lot of episodes.
I haven't seen any Owl House, and I feel like a terrible friend because so many of my friends are in that show. Sissy Jones is amazing in it, Zeno Robinson, and I think there's a lot of fandom crossover between Amphibia folks and Owl House folks, so I gotta check it out.
Yeah, same here. I haven't watched too much of it. I've seen like a couple episodes, and I see a lot of like stuff on like TikTok even about it, like a lot of like fan theories and stuff like that. So I'll watch some of that too, and it's really interesting. But I do like kind of how the two shows, like it's almost like an Amphibia sister show, like they're like
it really is or conceived about the same time. They took longer to bring Owl House to the screen. I don't know if they did rewrites or whatever, but yeah, they were very much sister shows in a way.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I believe from what Eden said, you guys shared a lot of animators. So a lot of the animators that worked on Amphibia also worked on the Owl House. And so I just thought that's really cool.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Team Disney.
And then this one is going to Nora, and there's another Spraying Against the World.
This one is for Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. Repetition helps it stick.
My Sharpie went out.
Oh no! Quick, get your bag! Get your bag of 500 Sharpies.
My bag of Sharpies.
Now that's a great quote for Polly. My Sharpie went out.
My Sharpie went out. Peter, I am starting yours right now. I love this print. So cute.
Lots of Owl House Amphibia crossover requests. We'll have to send those up to the Disney executives.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Is there another Disney show that you wish you could have been a voice on? Past or present? I'll open that up to the floor.
Oh.
All of them, you know. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, they're just so much fun to do. I mean, you know, especially the ones that you get to create new scenarios for the characters. Like with Goofy, a Goofy movie, kind of we took him in different directions and added layers to him and more, you know, nurturing father and worried about Max and all of this kind of stuff. That was fun to do. It's fun to stretch your character, like in well, in Amphibia. I mean, some of the kind of tender scenes where, you know, some of my favorite scenes were like when Hop Pop's lamenting that he couldn't do anything for Sprig and Polly's parents, and that the herons, you know, killed him, and some of those emotional scenes are difficult and yet a lot of fun to do. And one of my favorites on that was in the I don't know if it was first, second season, the Zappapedes, where they're watching Anne's, you know, her phone and episodes of what was it, Suspicion Island. And that was a fun one to do because, you know, you kind of get in a little more melodramatic, and it's fun acting to do. And to take a character where it's never gone before is always a big challenge and always a lot of fun to do.
That's cool.
I guess for me, like, I guess this isn't really a show, but I think it would be so cool to like act in like a Pixar movie or something, just because I've been like such a big Pixar fan since I was really little. So like, I mean, like, I grew up watching Monsters Inc., Cars, you know, all those shows, or movies. So I mean, like that would be really, really fun. But kind of to what Bill was saying, like building up like your character. Like I mean, I remember whenever we had to record the line, whenever, you know, with the heron scene when we were talking about the parents and everything, was like super, super emotional. And it was kind of fun in the way to like, you feel like you're kind of like connecting more with your character, like you're building a relationship with your character. I felt closer to Sprig, I guess you could say. And like it's just really interesting whenever you have shows that give you the ability to kind of get closer with your character. Not something that's just like, you know, some of these shows where it's like every episode is kind of just a new thing. There's not really much story and your character doesn't really build. But it's just really cool whenever you're able to like have that emotional connection with your character. And I think a lot of Pixar movies have that. You know, there's a lot of emotion in those movies, and you really get to learn about the character. The character builds within the couple of hours that the film goes on. So it's that would definitely be really, really cool. But I'm glad that Amphibia, you know, gave me the ability to experience that with the emotions and everything, but still a really funny show, you know. So it was great.
That's a really hard question. I just want to say all of them as well. I mean, also, how cool would it be to be in one of you know, the classic Disney movies, you know, the princesses and everything, Rapunzel and all of those. And funny story, I when I first moved out to LA, I didn't really have anything. I didn't have a, you know, a mattress, couch, coffee table, nothing. So I had a laptop. I had a blow up mattress. Eventually I got that, but I had a laptop. and this was back when the laptops had DVD players, and the only DVD I had was Rapunzel, and I watched it maybe 100 times, you know, and it was my form of entertainment for a long time, for like a few months, I feel like.
Amanda, I relate so much to what you're saying. When I moved to LA 11 years ago now, I had a laptop with a DVD player and a blow-up mattress, and I would go to the Red Box outside Vaughn's to get Blu-rays and DVDs and watch them and be like, yes, all is good. I have my entertainment.
Yes. I should have gone to the Red Box, you know. I could have gotten some
variety,
more movies, but
yeah, I mean, Disney, can I tell you guys a story that on the I'll just tell you and you can decide what it is. So my first Disney job that I was offered, it was a couple years into I'd been working, trying to get representation, trying to get auditions. And on one of the first auditions my first agent sent me out on, it was for the villain of a Disney feature film in development. And I got a call back and I booked it. And who knows if I would have been the final select. Often they'll cast voice actors to scratch a whole movie before it then usually maybe gets a celebrity offer to dub the part later. But I was so excited. I was going to be a Disney villain. And then we had our first session. And then 2 months later, my agent called me and said they killed the project.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that happens.
it
Yeah.
happens all
Yeah.
the time. And it was
does.
years later. It was like 4 or 5 years later before I got to work with Disney again. The first Disney show I worked on was Big Hero 6, the series. And so I'm just, as somebody who grew up loving Disney shows, anytime I get to lend my voice to a Disney project, I'm so grateful because I know what a rare gift that is, to be part of this special studio that creates content for children. That's the Disney brand is so amazing to be a part of. And so I will say, though, it is on my bucket list. I want to be a Disney duck so bad. I auditioned for several characters in the DuckTales that came out in 2017. So to be in a show like that, like a legacy Disney show, to play a legacy character would be a bucket list item for me for sure.
We'll get you in the reboot of Darkwing Duck.
Hey,
kidding.
I am telling you, who do I have to talk to? I mean, I live the walk.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, live the waddle in this case.
Seth Rogen, are you here? Are you listening?
In the vein of missing Matt, have you all read Marcy's journal? Did you read the book?
I have not read it yet.
No, I haven't either. No.
Matt,
I
please
want
send
to.
us advanced copies, please, next time.
Sure. Yeah. That's what we need.
It's at Target, right? Or no? Yes.
I've seen it at Target. Or when you guys come into the studio to sign those really beautiful group prints that we've got.
Yes.
We've got a couple copies because that's how I read it. I
Okay.
didn't know, I hadn't watched the show, and Matt was coming in to sign the books over Christmas, and I was like, I wonder what this is. So I just opened one of the extras, and I was like, this is so cute. By the end of it, I'm like sobbing. I'm like, this is so good. Excellent. Worth the read. Took me maybe an hour and a half. But then again, I was uninterrupted. The office was silent. No one was in that day.
I just know from like fan murmurings, because somebody tagged me in this, that General Yunan's last name is revealed to be Longclaw, which I had no idea.
Longclaw.
Cool.
Longclaw.
That's cool.
It's cool.
I would have thought that Yunan would have been her last name, because usually when you
Right.
have your moniker, it's like Commander your last name as opposed to Commander your first name. I like
Not
that.
in Newtopia.
That's okay. You know? Respect the first name. I love that. Amanda's working on an autograph very diligently. I'm watching her like concentrate.
I am. I'm
gonna do mine later.
redoing the one that my marker ran out on because I just feel so bad. I don't want it to look messy or, half marker. Diego, I was redoing yours because I wanted it to look pretty.
That's so nice. That's so diligent.
And then also, sadly enough, I don't want to admit this, but I will. When I signed it like I wrote a letter, like just printed from Amanda. I didn't sign it. I was like, oh, that looks not good. So you're gonna get a good one.
That's why I'm saving mine till later generally.
That was smart.
It's just, Yeah, I got to
Yeah.
go back and forth to my inbox and
Yeah.
lose the video. So it's easier to do that when you're concentrating because
Yeah.
I've already screwed up one or two.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking and writing is very difficult
Yeah,
at the same time. It is.
Also, a shout out to Kyler. Thank you so much, Kyler.
Oh, I want to go ahead and shout out. I know we're not signing these live, but the folks who ordered the posters. Let's see. We have Brian, Reyes, Ollie, Marina, Yuka. Yuka ordered 2. Anthony, Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Siana or Shauna. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. And Alejandra. Thank you all so much if you're listening.
And we will be getting those prints signed throughout the month of June. We're hoping to deliver them by the end of July. Everybody's got to come into the Streamily studios to sign those, and we'll get them personalized for you, and we'll get them out to you. And they are beautiful prints. I wonder if I can share my screen without giving away secrets.
Oh.
Okay.
Because usually I get to see like the back end stuff. Let me see. We're all going to go on an adventure, you guys. We're going to see.
This is very exclusive VIP backstage Streamily.
Right? Okay, we're going to turn on this one, and I'll turn off, I believe. There it is. So as you can see right here and right here, we've got those beautiful group prints. Let me see.
Beautiful.
Yep. There's that one. And then we've got this one.
Mm-hmm.
And they will sign those in the Streamily studios coming up this month. We've got them all printed. They are sitting there waiting. And we just have to mark a time so that I can also be in the studio. Like I said, I'm usually working from home, so I got to make the long drive to Northridge.
Usually working from your pool on a floaty.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Well, not with all the technology I work with, I wish, but yes, more generally in some sweatpants with only the good coffee. All right, back to the questions. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up probably in the next 10 minutes. We're going to let Amanda and Justin finish up all of their autographs that they're diligently working on. And so if you've got any questions about Amphibia, or you just want to know how the cast is doing, drop them in the thing now, and I will do my best. Ooh, someone keeps asking about animation, but I want to know, what's your favorite animated movie of all time?
Ooh.
Wow.
One that you still watch today, because we all do it. We do.
Gosh.
Lady and the Tramp for me.
Lady and the Tramp, a great one. See, when I was a kid, let me see, Pinocchio scared me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Going to the island and turning into a donkey and stuff scared me as a kid. Let's see, when kind of Disney had its resurgence in the mid 80s, I think, The Little Mermaid was a great one, of course. And my gosh, there's so many of them, and I was very proud that a Goofy movie is still as popular as it is after all these years. That was a great thrill to be able to do, and it's very special when you can see a thing you did in the theaters and have a live audience respond to it, because you just kind of get a whole sense of people enjoying what you do, and you don't get that on television generally, because except for these kind of events where you hear from fans, and otherwise you'd kind of do it and you go on. But gosh, the best animated movie. Wow, that's a toughie. I'm drawing a blank. Something will come up here a little bit. There's so many good ones.
I have a few like popping up in my head here and there, ones from childhood and then ones when I was a bit older that came out. The SpongeBob movie was hilarious. I remember when that came out in theaters. I remember when Pokemon had a movie in theaters.
Yeah.
And how huge it was. And we all got these little holographic Mew cards for going to see the movie in person.
Yeah.
That was the bomb.
That was a moment. I remember that.
When Mew first showed up, it was great. Now, like, everyone's like, oh, I caught a Mew on my Pokedex. Like, you don't know how rare Mew was.
During the movie, we were all like, what is this Mewtwo Mew thing? And now there's probably a billion other Pokemons. But, at the time, that was, for sure.
Have you rewatched the movie as an adult and had that like super deep cry that comes?
I haven't, but I have seen the clips of where I forget what it is. There's like a part where Pikachu's crying, everybody's crying.
Yes.
And there's this like she's like
Yep.
Pika. Just that part, you
Yep.
know. Oh. Yeah.
If you ever need just a good cry, just look up that particular scene on YouTube. I don't know what it is, but
forget.
they
Didn't they turn into
imbued it with
stone? Like the
something.
humans turned into stone or something?
I think just Ash turned into stone, and like all the Pokemon are crying about it. And I was just anytime I'm like, I just need a good cry. I have a couple movie scenes that I'm like, that one. I need to just watch that one. Or like anything where dogs see their owners after long periods of time. Oh, that gets me every time.
Yeah. Okay, another one just hit me. Up. I will watch
Up is great.
times.
Yeah, that can be a tearjerker.
Oh my gosh.
I will cry every time.
The first time I saw Up, I was watching it on a plane, and I was seated in the middle seat, and I feel so bad for the people next to me, because within the first 10 minutes, I'm like sobbing and shuddering with grief. And they're probably thinking this woman's gonna have a nervous breakdown on a plane.
They look over, they see it's a cartoon. They're like, what is happening?
Man, power of Ed Asner. Is it Pixar, right?
Pixar, yeah.
Yeah.
Always just been like my go-to forever. Like all those movies back in the day, like Incredibles. Actually, I'd say like at the time, The Incredibles were like my favorite. Like it was my favorite film. I like Incredibles too, but Incredibles was better. But I'd say for like favorite, I think it would be Up, because like it has like that good amount of like adventure, but then also like the emotions and the crying and everything. Like I personally can't watch the intro to Up without crying, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
You just you do.
it's just,
Let's see.
love.
Well, I've had the fortune to be in the ADR group on several, Pixar movies, and so I got to kind of see the evolution of it when you see it before it's released, like Toy Story and Bugs Life and Monsters Inc. and Monsters University and stuff, but Toy Story, even when it was just in what's called animatic, it's not even fully animated yet, and you're voicing extra characters and stuff. You could tell that one was very special and unique, and it's like one of the first really, CGI kind of movies that really made it. And yeah, they did. That one affected me. I love that one. There's Up. God, that is an emotional one. There's so many of them that are really great. Yes.
Toy Story definitely is one of those. Just like it's very well emotions and everything. Like I probably cried just as hard in Toy Story 3 than I do in
Toy Story 3 was really an emotional one. Yeah, when they're all going into getting burned up in the incinerator, and that was like really.
I still haven't seen
Holding
it.
hands.
Spoiler.
That part gave me nightmares as a kid, but
That's tragic.
Aww.
I just see a shout out for Emperor's New Groove in the chat. I love that movie.
Yeah, that was a
it's
great
so
one. Yeah.
funny.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So funny.
Hilarious.
Great one.
So underrated. That and Meet the Robinsons, if you've never seen it. Great Disney
Oh.
movie. Phenomenal. Just top 10. Top 10 for me. It's like one of my comfort movies. That and a Goofy movie. I'll put it on in the background just to have like noise. Oh my gosh, perfect. And they always get to like the big monologue scene at the end. Like Goofy's monologue on the car with Max. Like as an adult brings me to tears. When I was a kid, I was like, this part. As an adult, I'm like, he just wants to spend time with his son. It gets me every time.
Oh my gosh.
Also, I out a couple people. The first is Daniel Juarez, and he wanted me to write "Spraying Against the World." So there we go, "Spraying Against the World." Thank you so much, Daniel. And then there's two others I want to shout out. Another one is Sam, and he wanted me to write my favorite Frig quote. So I put, of course, "Levers are for pulling, Ann." And then the last one was for Avery, and that's just a signature. So you got that there. And then I've got two more. So we're almost there.
Justin's in the home stretch. What about you, Amanda? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I did have one of the group ones that I was gonna start. This beautiful, this little beauty, and then Bill and Justin will sign it later.
Yeah.
Should I get the first sign? No, I'm kidding.
Sign over their faces.
I was trying to think of
I have
like
the
some other.
power.
I was trying to think of some other moments that kind of hit me, and I remember it was after Amphibia was gone, but we did that mashup where Polly sings. It was like for sidekicks, and you did a rap song, and and that was also cool because they did a little nod to us voice actors because they had Hop Pop come out at the end, and Goofy was the cameraman.
Oh,
Yes.
And they had like Big City Greens characters and all the sidekicks. And so Hot Pop's one of those, and he goes up to Goofy and said, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" Which was what it,
Yeah.
that was cool.
hilarious.
Those little ancillary things and the songs and stuff are fun.
That's so fun. I don't know why I keep getting these calls to do rapping. I don't like. I mean, like
you're
for
so
animation,
good at it.
Yeah, you did it
on
really
Troll,
well.
We did it, for Amphibia, and I love it. It's so much fun. I'm not gonna become a rapper anytime soon, but it's so much fun.
Cut to 1 year later, her first album coming out, rap album.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. You just said you're great at rapping,
Thank you,
Amanda.
Solon.
I appreciate that.
There we go. Give it the credit it deserves.
Yeah.
Great comment. Starred comment.
Thank you. I see some people in the chat asking me if I still dance, if I do tap and point and stuff. I used to dance I think for 11 years competitively.
Wow.
Growing up, yeah. I don't anymore, but sometimes if a good song comes on, I'll lyrical my way across the room. But that's it.
That's so cool.
All right, and then the last two, one of them is for Ashton. So thank you so much, Ashton. He also wanted me to write my favorite quote, so I put "Levers are for pulling, Ann." And then the very last one is to Aptrini, if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you so much. And they wanted me to write or to sign and to draw a little picture of Sprig. So I don't know if you guys.
Cool.
Oh, good job. That's so good.
Oh, all right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. And someone actually asked this question to just Bill, but I want to ask it to all of you. What's the best ride at Disneyland?
Oh.
I know, controversial, but that's where we'll end it.
Wait. Does California Adventure count?
I'm going to say yes.
Sure.
Does
Yeah.
Epcot count?
Yeah.
All the Disney parks.
I'll give you that. Of all
Thank
the
you.
Disney parks, What is your favorite ride?
Oh my gosh.
This is easy for me, so I'm gonna hop in.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind just opened at Epcot
Yeah, that's
about a year ago. It's a great roller coaster, and if you go in the regular line, not the standby, you will see a certain familiar face interviewing the Guardians of the Galaxy as part of Good Morning Xandar. I played the
that's right.
Xandarian
Yeah, I
host.
remember that. Yeah.
And it's really fun. It's a really fun ride. I got to ride it right before it opened with the Imagineers, and it is so fun. If you get motion sick, take
Oh
a
yeah.
Dramamine. It is very. I was not. I was fine, but I was not fine for 5 minutes
Yeah.
after. And I was
Imagine Space Mountain at Disneyland, but the cars turn around 360.
yes.
And
Oh.
that's kind of a little idea what it's like. I was down at Walt Disney World doing an event not too long ago, and I got to go on the Tron ride.
Oh yeah.
And that's like you're on a motorcycle, and wow, it takes off just kind of like like a roller coaster. But I mean, it's fast and it's great. And but I kind of like also the old ones. I love Pirates the Caribbean. I never go to Disneyland without doing that one and Haunted Mansion because I love Halloween. I love all of that stuff. And it's just kind of a good feeling one. So those are some of my favorites. And of course, anything that I've ever been in, like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, is really a great ride. If you get a chance to see that, it's in Toontown at Disneyland and in Florida, which has been open for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and it's a good one too.
I haven't been to Disney World since I think I was like 10 or something like that, but I'm going back in like 2 weeks. I haven't there's so many new rides. Like the time I went, I have like vague memory of it, and I remember it was a lot of like similar rides to Disneyland, but they put out so many rides like the Tron ride and Guardians, and I think they have the Avatar or something like that. So I just really want to go there and experience some of those. But from what I've gone on at like Disneyland California Adventure, I'd have to go with probably the Drop of Doom, the Guardians Drop of Doom, or to be honest, I really like the I have to plug this with the Goofy's Flight School, Bill.
Oh, it's scarier than you think. Yeah, that one. It's actually a pretty scary ride.
Yeah, no, it's the drops are like really steep, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect it to be like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a smaller ride, but it is can be scary, and it's a good one.
All right. Well, I love a good roller coaster. I have not been to Disney World, so that's on the bucket list. Never been.
You got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been to Disneyland maybe probably a billion times, and I still call it the Hollywood Tower of Terror. Justin, what is it called now? It's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
The Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
Yes,
really
I
great.
love that drop, and then Screaming California, that loop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and in Florida, Mission Space is pretty accurate. If there's 2 versions of it, one that like has you're in a centrifuge really, and it pushes you back. You're really taking off in a rocket, and yeah, it's pretty realistic. There's a lot of great ones, but I like the fast ones too. I like the roller coaster ones.
Well, that's amazing. And it's such a great note to end on because now everybody wants to go to Disneyland and ride their favorite rides. All right. Thank you all for joining us. And thank you so much to the cast of Amphibia for coming back a year later and talking to us and spending time signing all of these autographs. We'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.